Hi, Erik. Welcome, everyone. We are with Erik. He's a founder of the Flywheel company. It's a no-code based IT agency. If you are looking to build your web app or mobile app using a no-code technology, you can definitely contact with the Erik. So, hi, Erik.
Hey, Ankur, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, hi, so before going about your no-code journey and all, so basically, I want to basically understand how you started the no-code thing. So before even learning the no-code tools, are you a like full-time developer or like what exactly the position you were working on?
Yep. So my background is actually business consulting. I studied accounting in college, university, and I was working in Big Four, boutique strategic consulting in the US and then in Hong Kong. And we worked with primarily financial services, banks, insurance companies, hedge funds. And then in the last, it would be like the last 2 years of doing that, we started getting into, I guess it was even before that, but low code and almost no code technology. So a lot of that was really started with RPA, BPM, some systems a lot of people probably aren't familiar with. They're more enterprise focused systems, but we started working with those and we really began to see that there was a whole class of tools coming out that allowed non-developers to develop software. And as an accountant, that was pretty cool and also, very helpful. It's I had no ability to. I still have almost no ability to write code. So, my background is not a developer. I tried to learn a long time ago. I did, Python for Dummies or whatever, the easy course to learn Python. I learned some stuff, but basically, I fell into no code, and from there we were able to create an agency that's worked on a couple dozen mobile applications and web applications, and that wouldn't be possible without the software we use today.
So is it like you always want to go in the programming and developing zone, or like is there any particular trigger point in your business, like while doing as a consultant? Okay, you need to develop something. Okay, you try to find any developer but not able to find. So you thought, okay, what options are available? Then you find a no code tools and then you start learning and you are love with the no code tools and building a product. Is it, or like you always want to go in the developing the
It,
I?
I never wanted to do tech personally. So um, it was not something I was really interested in. When you working in enterprise tech is very, very different from what we do at the low end with like low code and no code. It's months and months of very rigorous and detailed work of like you have to go and write 800 requirements, and it's line by line by line requirements, and then you have to go and you have to test every requirements and do sit, kit, UAT, and all this other stuff. And when a lot of people don't really realize that, but when a lot of tech is it takes a very long time to do one simple thing. And I had no aspirations to do that. The only reason I got into it was because um, it just seemed like everything I wanted to do always came up to a point that you needed tech to do it. And so in consulting, we were trying to sell technology as a product or use it as part of an engagement we were on or whatever. So then we would need to know the products and we need to be sometimes certified on them. So then I'd go through that process. And then I think the big impetus for me saying, hey, I think that there's something different about no code, low code versus other tech was we were talking to vendors about some software solutions that one of our clients needed, and they were quoting us, $40,000 to $60,000 to build this. And I was just thinking to myself, it's actually really easy. It is not a very complicated system. And for a bank, $60,000 is nothing. Like I get it from their side, but it was a very, very simple program that we were building, and I stumbled onto a Adalo, and I was messing around with it. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I could really build this for like $8,000 on a dollar. Now, my rates have gone up since then, and I would not be quite so silly now to charge so little. But it was very much a eye-opening moment that um, you know, no code isn't. It's not like other tech. Other tech is just a lot more complicated.
Okay. So Adalo, so for everyone who is like watching this, so Adalo is a platform to build a mobile apps using a no code tech basically. So going forward, so Adalo is your like first first no code tool, or is like before like hopping on Adalo, you were using any other tool?
I mean, I started in RPA BPM, which is like low code. I mean, you still do some coding, but for people that aren't familiar, like RPA is robotic process automation. There's companies like UiPath, Blue Prism. Basically, it allows you to emulate your computer without doing anything, without being human, or without a human doing action. So you can create a workflow of the mouse moving around the screen and typing and copying and pasting information. It's very, very powerful, and it's very powerful to because you can build any workflow that you can do on your computer. You can build an RPA, but you don't have to write any code for it, and you also don't have to have two systems with APIs, which is something that's required for like Zapier or any other integration. So I started there, but I guess the first real no code tool I used was Adalo, and that was for just purely for personal purposes. To be honest, I don't even know if I could tell you how I found it. Um, I was just lucky enough to stumble upon it, and the first thing I made was a mobile app for myself.
Okay. So like doing like building your app for your own needs to like building a company, so is it like something you like, so since you are from the business background, so you have proper put a strategy behind it, okay, you will learn that, or is just a flow with the like go with the flow thing, okay, you are building you are loving the no code tag, you are loving the building of product by using a no code tool, then you thought okay, this is the same problem I need to solve for others, so i i I should build a company and build product for others.
It was kind of a bit of both. I mean, our business is Flywheel Studio, and we split it kind of down the middle. 50% is us building products for ourselves, and that products that we sell. There are products. They're not, that's not a client coming to us and asking us to build something. The
Okay.
other 50% is clients coming to us and asking for coaching, consulting work, or building a product start to finish, and everything in between on that. So we might help on one specific function. We might build a mobile app. We might help them with their deployment. We might help them with hosting and maintenance, everything. And a lot of that's just kind of, to be honest, it's been go with the flow. The industry's been growing crazy fast. We do not do any outbound sales or outreach per se. I mean, we have a YouTube channel that's pretty popular, but we don't really get too many major clients from that. It's more about helping the community and people in general. But there's been such a growth from people who want to use Adalo that we've just been trying to support people and inbound requests. We're listed as an Adalo agency, so every week we get a couple requests that say, "Hey, we would like to work with you on different things," and we see if we're the right agency for them, and if we are, then that'll be a new client.
And okay, one more thing. So before even like starting like your like career in particular node tag, be it as a freelancer or be it as a company. So like you have worked as a like part time with your full time job, or you like completely left your job existing job, that business consultant job, and then you switch to that, or you build like working along with your company, working your full-time job, and build a client repo, and also learning and all. So at a point where you feel like, okay, I'm getting enough equal to my like paycheck, and then now switch to complete to do this.
Yeah, okay, I understand the question. Yeah, I actually have a very my story is pretty unique, and I would not I don't know if I'd really recommend anyone try this, but basically, um, I was it was early 2020 when I went full time on this, and what happened was I quit my job because my wife and I were going to go take a travel sabbatical and travel, and then COVID hit and everything shut down. So then we weren't traveling. So I started taking clients, and started working with people because we were locked down in Hong Kong. We you know I there wasn't anything to do, and I just started helping people build their app, and from there we just started a business. I would say for me to replace my full time income probably took 9 months, I'd say.
Okay,
Um,
from
but
January to September.
well, I really quit and kind of started this in May, I'd say. But yeah, probably like it was end of last year, beginning of this year that my income actually like eclipsed what I was making previously. I'd say just a few months before that, it was very much a living wage. You could get by on it, and you'd be fine, but it took quite some time to build that up. But I think looking back on it, there's ways that we could have done it faster if we had been a little bit smarter and a little bit more active on it. And then I'd also say that once it starts, it really gets going. It takes a very long time to start, and maybe that makes sense to do it as a freelancer part-time for a period of time until you can build everything up. It would be a lot of work. You do spend a lot of work for not as much hourly wage, but um, once you start getting quite a few clients, it does seem very much like you're growing exponentially. And today we're at a place where we don't take new clients for the most part. We just take select clients.
Okay. So are you originally from Hong Kong, or like you are from?
I'm American. I was before this year I was living in Hong Kong for the last 5 years.
So basically, I when I was reading about you, so you have a YouTube channel where you have posted a lot of about Adalo, and I think
Hmm.
I suggest everyone to watch it. I think it is name of Flywheel dot Studio, so
Yep.
everyone should watch it. And also, I figured out you publish two full courses on Udemy, and one 548-minute content over the your own website. I think noadalo.com.
Hmm.
Yeah. So is it like you as a like you are working with a lot of people, so you love the teaching something to other, or you're like your is it your business mind who is okay, let's put a lot of content out there and people let them know ki, okay, I'm a guy who is building Adalo based apps, so you can contact me.
Yeah, I think it's quite a few different things. We one the first one is, I mean, we really try and get back to the community, the Adalo community, as much as we can. The more people building apps on Adalo, even if they're building it themselves, the better it is for us. So we try and answer people's questions, try and put out content that shows them, how to do specific things. And we think that is helpful for everyone, and it's helpful for us too. We also saw that, if we go and create some tutorials that are on key topics, then we could sell those. And then if people have questions with those specific apps, then we would become kind of the the people they would come to get help for those apps. So we also viewed it as kind of a an outbound channel where we're selling courses, but also an inbound channel where people building those types of apps will come to us for help.
And also, while going through your Twitter account, I feel like you have put a lot of content plus lot of initial your mobile apps related to fitness. So, like,
Hmm.
are you like some into the fitness enthusiast and or like fitness trainer before even starting the like no code journey?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think I'm pretty athletic.
Okay.
The first app we built was a fitness app, and I think once you start building something, eventually you will build yourself into a niche of something that you're very good at because you'll really understand it. Um, most people think that we build mobile apps, but we more build businesses and processes. The mobile app is pretty easy, but you have to understand the processes that it's working with. So, if you're building something like you know, um, a fitness app, you have to understand like how workouts are structured and how clients interact with workouts and how their coaches will post workouts and all these things. So, a lot, and if you have a great client who's written out a perfect spec, then that's easy. But majority of the time, the clients say, "Hey, I just want this," and then we have to know the processes to build it. So, I think a lot of people end up building in a specific niche that they've built other apps in and that they're good at. And for us, that's been fitness, as well as a few other niches. I wouldn't say fitness is the biggest anymore, but for a while that was like all we tried to do.
Okay. And one more thing I was trying to understand is since you are from the business background and now you have a like IT knowledge also, and myself I also believe into IT is more about building a product and something, building even a mobile app. So what you think you have done differently from like existing agencies from business point of view, basically?
To be honest, I think we don't focus. I mean, today we try and focus less on building the app and more on building the business with our customers. We see so many issues with makers today trying to build apps for the first time, and there's a lot of resources out there. You know, I would say 90% of them have read like the Lean Startup or the E Myth or some of these other books, Zero to One, The Hard Thing About Hard Things. 90% have read those or at least know of them or know the concepts. Also, 90% do not follow those. So we very much focus on the business side of one, how are we going to get this product to the market as fast as possible? What is the combination of like MVP, MLP, whatever we want to call it, V1, etc. How are we going to get that out there as fast as possible? And two, um, really focusing on what is the distribution model and the monetization model here. Those are the kind of the three things that so many makers do not do well. And at the end of the day, we from working on 20 apps last year, we know that if the app doesn't matter, it almost doesn't matter nearly as much as people think. And so if you don't get the other three right, then whatever we're building will fail. And we know that we've built amazing apps and watched them flop because there's no model around distribution or monetization. And then we've seen some clients spend 9 months building an app that they could have built a lighter version of in 2 months and had it out on the market for 7 months and tested it. And it's like, does that make sense? Most of these people are not heavily funded. So in short, I mean, we really focus on the business side of things now a lot more than just the technical.
So basically, as you said, ki you like more focus on more than the mobile apps, building a mobile apps, more on the business side, more on the processes basically. So
Yeah.
what is the difference basically, like, or or I will say ki, what is the process you follow to like take up any client for, so like you, so a lot of client reaches to you, so you also refine the client also based upon the your capability, your like your plus point, your advantage, and also keep in mind you are building more than mobile apps, you're building a
Hmm.
businesses. So what is the,
Yeah.
like, what is the like point you keep remember while filtering out the client basically, if you can share with us?
Um, do you want to know the process we follow, or
Yeah, process that you
yeah,
follow to filter out the clients.
yeah? I mean, so first off, every freelancer agency has a set of red flags that if somebody comes to you and they say like, "Hey, I want to do this and my budget's $500," like that's probably a red flag because they, if they're not going to invest in it in something, why would we invest our time in it? And a lot of people think no code is less, no code, low code is some people just treat it like it's free. They think because somebody's not coding that it's going to be, almost free. And at the end of the day, that's just not true either. So, barring all the red flags, we normally have, I mean, we get a lot of inbounds and then we talk to the client and say, okay, what are you trying to build? What's your time frame? What's the level of complexity here? What's the budget? And then we just see if it makes sense. I mean, we do try and help everyone in some way, regardless of budget. Um, but we also just know that some people, when we're talking to them, they don't know what they want to do, or we just have the anticipation that they're going to be a very difficult client, and typically those we'll really stay away from, and then we'll try and find them somebody else who can help them. Some people just also have um they just some people sometimes you see people who want to spend money and you just assume that business is probably going to fail and that they're going to spend a ton of money on something and they don't know what they're doing, and it's like it does seem like a waste. So typically we try not to take clients like that either.
But that client, okay, but that client sometimes pay you more than that you will get a like from your two or three clients. Sometimes
Sure,
that greediness,
it does happen. Hmm.
yeah. So that greediness also come in between. Ki, okay, let's take this client. We know he's just spending a way too much money over your product and is going to fail because of there's just so many red flags there. So the greediness is
one
also.
Yeah, one thing we do though that is good for our business is we try and not do. Okay, so a traditional agency, when somebody comes to an agency, the agency will say, "Hey, we're going to charge you, $7,000 to build this, and then we're going to hand it over to you." The way that we work is normally we say, "Hey, we're going to charge you $5,000 to build this, and then $2,000 a month to keep working on it." Because no product is ever just finished. It's never just done. It doesn't need to be improved. There's nothing else to do. There's always more work to be done. And so many people don't understand that part, but that aligns us to the client long term. We want to continue working with them. And so, you know, we know it, I mean, it's pretty obvious, and also from experience that, if they're not making money, eventually they will shut it down and then we don't get that retainer anymore. So we are very interested in them spending less up front, building a real business, having distribution and monetization and customers, and then being able to pay us long term. That's where we get our value. So we really try and align directly with the clients on that.
Okay. Okay. So we talk about there's a like, so we already know that there's a lot of benefit of using a no code tool. So you will complete your product into the like you will, so for example, if the development cycle is for the 6 month or 8 month, you can reduce to 2 month, or you can build your MVP in a very shorter time, and you don't need to have a like very technical knowledge of particular programming language. But is there any particular limitation, or I would say, is there any different use case? People should not try the MVP, should not try no-code tools to build their app, or is it there is some issue with the scalability of the platform?
Yeah, I think um, y- I would say there are certain apps that you cannot build with no code. Like, let's just get that out there. You cannot build a mobile game with no code. You cannot build very specific, types of functionality. So there's just some things no code doesn't lend itself well to. At the end of the day, for 80% of the apps out there, you could build a working version in no code. For 50% of the apps out there, you could build a great version in no code today. But no code's always getting better. So besides the game part, where games are just very fundamentally different how they're designed and how people use them, um, you could build almost anything in no code, and that's where we really recommend people start. A lot of people do get caught up in, oh, Adalo, or name any no code thing doesn't have this feature, then I won't be able to build my product. And it's like, I've never seen anyone have a feature, one specific feature, that if they cannot do that, then they cannot build their product. There's always workarounds, and there's always different ways to do things. So I think build it in no code, and then if you have a thousand paying customers, go build a real app. Then you'll have no problem building a real application. Once you have paying customers, you can go raise funding, you can afford to do it yourself, whatever it is. But um, it's just incredibly short-sighted to me that somebody would say, oh, I can't do this in no code, when there's probably a workaround, and then that will save them probably $10,000 just by trying it out.
And yeah, one more thing is there. So in your existing app, basically, is there any app like what is the total like highest user basis any app have basically that you have built?
That I have built, I probably can't answer that very well, because there's just apps out there we don't have access to anymore. So the longer ones out there um, may have more. I don't know. Most of ours are pretty niche, I would say. So I think maybe 1,000 or 2,000 users would be the most right now that we still have access to. Um, the highest I've heard for Adalo is there is an app that has over 100,000 users. So a lot of people always ask, like, does it scale? And it's like, well, I mean, my apps don't have that many, because we tend to work with smaller businesses and niche use cases. But there are businesses out there that have thousands and tens of thousands of people using their Adalo app every day.
One more thing. So since it is a no-code tools based IT agency, and you build a businesses basically, so the usual engagement with the client with the like shorter than comparison to when some IT agency build an app for the using programming language. So
Hmm.
I believe key for no-code tools, it will vary from 6 months to 8 months to build a complete business from the scratch to the complete distribution and all. To compare it to the like IT agency, I believe it is more of a 1.5 1.5 1.5 year to 2 years. So how you basically plan your days or plan your so basically you have to keep looking for your client, so it's a shorter period of cycle. So you have to keep looking for your next client. Is it something or is it no? There is no such case.
Well, it's true. We do have shorter build times and shorter projects. Majority of our projects are probably 1 month to 2 months though to build an app. We try and really sprint and do it fast. I mean, one of the weird things is like, okay, if you saw a mobile app and you said, okay, this would take me 100 hours to build this. Technically, it shouldn't matter if you do it over 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months because it's 100 hours either way. But at the end of the day, we found the longer we take, the more the clients will want to iterate, the more meetings we have to have, the more changes to the platform that might occur while we're doing it. So the faster we build it, the less time we spend on it just in total. So most of our projects, like we just completed an app. It's called Charge Up. Very cool app for a cool company. We did that in 4 weeks and came out with a production app just in time for their launch. And I think they have a couple hundred users on it already, and it's growing very fast. Um, we work with our clients though on retainer ongoing. So we will be supporting Charge Up. We'll be supporting other clients month over month. So once we get a client, we normally don't just lose them after we build an app. We almost always keep working with them. Our longest client right now has been, I think, 8 or 9 months. So we do get a longer cycle from that. But with Adalo and NoCode, we get a lot of inbound requests as well. So we have a very solid client pipeline that keeps us very busy. Just managing requests. We're almost busy doing that. We don't really need to go out there and try and win more clients.
So, like, are you like planning to expand your team, or like you already have like how much people in their team?
Yep. So we're a team of 3 people. I don't think we're going to be expanding anytime soon. We've hit a point where we are looking for more talent. We are interested in hiring. We are not seeing the talent we want to see out in the marketplace right now, and in the availability. So we've decided to refrain from growing any larger. We're pretty much at max capacity now, and we're going to just maintain this and build the best agency we can at this level, because we don't see there's not more value in just doing more work for the sake of doing more work.
So, what will be your suggestion if someone wants to start no coding, like basically starting like career as a freelancer in the no coding technology, or will you suggest Adalo or any other tool, or like, or you use any tool, whatever like freelancer will love to work, or focus more on the business side of this whole agency sort of thing?
I would build a project that you yourself are interested in. I would play around a little bit with Adalo, Bubble, Builder, Webflow, and see what your skill set is. For us, like, we're not designers, so we don't want to work on Webflow. Like, there's designers out there. We're not competitive against them, so why would we do that? We are workflow builders. That's my background. So we want to work in something like Adalo or Bubble or Builder for that. Adalo is the only one that you can build mobile apps on, though. So you can't build a native mobile app on Bubble or on Builder. So we chose Adalo for that. So see where your strengths and weaknesses are and see what platform makes sense to you. There's very different levels of complexity. Adalo is probably like one of the easiest ones, along with Glide. But on the other side, you have Builder, which is like extremely powerful, and you can just build anything on there. So you'll find out where your skill set is, and then I would start building projects for yourself. You will need them as your showcase and as your portfolio, and then try and get out there and start freelancing and really try and get certified as an expert on that platform. Most of those platforms are just inundated with leads, and then you do not have to do as much outbound.
So is it someone wants to contact to you? What is the best way to like reach you to you?
Probably just reach out to me on Twitter, twitter.com/, Erik Goins HQ. You can see more about our business or reach out to us on flywheel.so as well.
Yeah, that's it. Like basically from my side.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome,
you.
Ankur. All right. Well, have a great rest of your day. Cheers.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.